I'd like to start with Divya, if you can introduce yourself.
One of the key aspects of the festival is collaborations, music collaborations with artists from Rajasthan and from other parts of the world initially and still going on. Then artists from other parts of India who are not in the folk tradition, could be contemporary or jazz or classical. And as of 22, I did my first collaboration folk to folk, Rajasthani folk with Khasi, artists from Nepal. The reason I'm talking about collaboration because one of the things like Lama mentioned is connections and the importance of being able to work together. And collaborations is a great way for artist mobility. You know, there are countries in the world that actually have funds to support artistic collaboration because they are interested in the development of their own artists. And why should our artists not also benefit? So this is one part of my work. The other part of my work is I teach. I teach applied theatre in a university in the UK. And I also teach some online courses. Right now there's one called SAFTA. It's the South Asia Festivals and Culture Academy. It's online. It's a British Council in Edinburgh, Navy University, online. It's now in its 5th year, final year. And I also am starting a new course to do with music management online. So yeah, that's me as much of a width as I could possibly.
That's all.
No, there's a little more, but let me not.
My name is Eddie Prithviraj, festival organizer, performance theatre, and international artist tour management also. There are two festivals that I run. One is the Global Indie Festival for the indie artists. And the other festival is the Mumbai Jazz and the Madras Jazz Festival. Those are my babies.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Hi everyone. My name is Frankie Naden. I'm from Indonesia. I live in Bali. I started my career in music as a composer. I used to compose music for movies, for movies. That's how I earned my living. Because as a composer in Indonesia, you can really earn enough money to survive, right? So, but then after I returned home, I also decided, no, okay, I don't want to compose anymore. I don't want to teach anymore. I don't have enough. So I decided because I saw that a lot of interesting things in music, of course, going on in Indonesia, but they need somebody to sort of guide them or support them, help them to develop. So I decided doing what we normally call applied ethnomusicals. So we go to the field, and through festival, I've been doing quite a lot of program, what I call empowerment program for music group, because there's so many. I'm focusing mainly on traditional music, or I don't know, maybe the terms you can use it like world music. It's not necessarily traditional. Root music, as you know, is the term, and then can be something new also, based on the traditional or have some sort of cultural roots. That's what I'm focusing on. So I do a lot of festival in Indonesia. It happened to be needed because Indonesia, like here in Nagaland, has some sort of similarity. They need to develop a destination for tourism. So the way to do it is, of course, through festival, and of course, mainly cultural festival. Because in festival, what do you want to sell? Basically culture, right? So I got the opportunity to do quite a few festivals before pandemic, and even many too much. Like I run like 6 to 8 festivals every year, across the country, because Indonesia is such a huge archipelago, so everywhere. And I specifically targeting a place where they have like very interesting culture, like here, like Nagaland. So that's where I do my festival, so I can get in touch with people there. So my festival, now I only 2 left so far, but maybe coming up with more. One is Indonesian Music Expo, Is this also empowerment program like what you guys doing here, I guess, TAFMA, because we need to empower, we need to expose our local band to the international, music scene, right? So that's why we do Indonesian Music Expo. Concentrate, up to now we concentrate only on Indonesian music, of course, but very soon we're going to open until we got a lot of trust from delegation, from buyers, quote unquote. So that's what I'm doing is, and then the other festival is international festival. That's more open festival, the very interesting area that's quite similar to Nagaland here, where there are many tribes live, and they're still running basically what I call living megalithic culture. So and the music is incredible. When you hear the music, you know this music coming from like 1,000 years ago. So they're still very much practicing. So that's my festival called Toraja International Festival. So, but on the top of that, just one more thing. I also, since I cannot escape from being composing, so I have my own group also. But I have a huge orchestra, 35 piece, all indigenous instrument. So not a single Western instrument. So I think the Western time is already done. 400 years is enough for them. So now it's Asian turn. So your turn to come up with something. So that's why I have this traditional orchestra. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Rizu?
Hi, namaste. I'm Rizu from Nepal, Kathmandu. And like our colleagues said, it's first of all, I did my music pedagogy from Sibelius Academy in Finland. But having a band in Nepal, a three-piece band, while we were touring around Europe, we realized that there are so many less European, Asian bands coming to the world music platforms. So with that, thirst to get our Asian people also to go tour around the world, we decided, okay, what might be the ways? So we created this festival. It's called Echoes in the Valley. So we believe that music should be free for everyone, from every walk of life. So it is always a free event. And since being a free event, we don't have a lot of budget, right? So we decided, okay, where should we, how to build stage? Then we realized that there's these platforms named Dabu, that's in front of all the temples around Kathmandu Valley. Those were actually built in 6th to 8th centuries. Those were actually built for the artists. But when we were starting 2017, it was occupied by the shops, by the small business shops. So we had to go for them, asking please allow us for one day. So it took us around 6 months to convince all the these like doubles to be available. So we make use of those doubles, those raised platforms, which were actually made for the artists. So we use those and we showcase like roots music. So that music, any music that has to do with any traditions from the world, but it has to reflect a tradition. So that is what we do. Along with the festival, we have lots of exhibitions, workshops, and a lot of activities for the kids. Intergenerational passed on workshop from the elderlies. So the elderlies from that area become the conductor of the workshop of so many household things that we have actually forgotten how to do. So those kind of things. And besides that, we do also have, we started the first Nepal Music Archive. It's a digital archive. So we've been working on the archive section as well around the year, as well as workshops and residencies. And I teach at Ethnomusicology Department of Kathmandu University as well.
Hello, my name is Boom. I'm from Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm the concert promoter. My company called Scene Space. What we do is we run so many shows like every month. Like we brought many acts from around the world, and mostly Asian. We also have we have two festivals Like one is small one is called Pow Fest. This one is for like indie rock band, indie band like shoegaze, dream pop, something like that, like post rock, post punk, something like this. This happened around in the middle of the year, around June or July. It's called Pow Fest, and we also have the big festival. Like around the end of November, it's called Mahalasop Festival. And in this festival, we have like all genre in the festival, like rock, pop, hip hop, world music, DJ, and we brought every band from around the world. And this year going to be at November 23rd and 24th, 2 days festival. It will be our 5th edition, and you guys should go to Bangkok for this. It will be fun. And along with the promoter side, I also run the recording label. It's called Palina Music, and I have like before COVID, I have like more than 10 artists in my label, but after COVID, it's just only 5 artists, and we're focusing outside country, not only in Thailand. So many of my artists play abroad, like we go out like one of the band name called Kiki, K-I-K-I. They just do the like Asia tour, like in Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and hopefully India in the future. And we just went to France. It's like a showcase festival in there, and we have good opportunity to be in Europe. So, and yeah, and I'm always open for if you guys are a musician and want to come to Bangkok or Thailand, just let me know. That's all.
So easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to this place.
Take a coffee or something for it.
Yeah, we can come to that.
We're all gonna come.
Yeah, I'm gonna take back again one more.
Yes,
I
sure.
forgot to mention that besides the world music or the traditional front reflection music from the tradition, we are also studying the other thing that's like anything that's out of that. Say, let's say punk rock or like whatever other genre. So we have just started to work on that. Besides Echoes in the Valley, so we'll be using the connection here to showcase the other bands in different venues in Kathmandu, in Pokhara, in Nepal.
Yeah. We'll be looking forward to the outcome. Yeah,
The dates are already, you can announce the dates.
Also
Yeah.
the dates are set.
Yeah, basically we are having reunion island artists from Eddie. We are thanks to Jiska Khan.
Yes, it's
On March 3rd,
no, March 6,
7, and the
16.
The following week, 16. So we are
6, 7 is the venue, and 17th is 16th is the
It's a
green
festival.
band. What is it?
It's a grassland.
Grassland, sorry. That's it. I've all the time.
Come to me, guys.
Okay, great. And Salam. Yeah,
Okay.
been a long
So Kuzuzangput everybody means the happy heart. Kuzuzangput means it's kind of a greetings from Bhutan. So I'm just, trying to pass greetings on behalf of people of Bhutan and my king. I just want to take this opportunity, and before that I want to thank all the, festival directors here, and for our brothers and sisters being part of this session. My name is Sonam Doji, but in India, mostly when the Doji is attached to it, they think that I'm a tailor. One who does kind of a tailoring, a tailor. But in Doji in my country, it means Vojana, that is, normally in a Buddhist ritual they use it. So just to start up my career, you know that in Bhutan music is not highly developed. So I was born in a society where, in a very far-flung, a community called Kaptong. And when I was looking to go for music, my parents were always against it. Music was always, been looked down in Bhutan. Still, the scenario is not that haven't reached to that kind of a, standard. And I said I want to do it music because I have been learning music, with the taking teachers from the nature. Nature gives a lot, but they don't, charge you anything, free of course. That was how I grew up, taking music in my life. So, and after that, after my class 12, Bhutan is a neighborhood to India and one of the close friends of India. We always consider India and Bhutan are two brothers. So, and Bhutan has only one diplomatic office in the past, but now we have Bangladesh also. So the Indian ambassador, when I was asked to perform for them, for their guests, and I love singing, folk songs and all that. And I used to be a songwriter, singer, and a composer. I used to, compose my own songs. So I went to perform there, and then the ambassador told my home minister, our country's home minister, why didn't you, make those students to go for a music education? And my minister said that, no, music is not part of education in Bhutan. It's a part of entertainment, that you sing, play, dance in front of people. So they never knew that music is a part of academy, a part of a career. And I went to India, and the first thing I went to India is I went to Shantiniketan. I think you all know about Shantiniketan, Rabindranath Tagore's University. And I was there for 4 years. I did my degree there. And after that, I went back to my country. Again, the government of India asked me to join again for the studies. I went to Gujarat all the way to study my music, and I did my master's. Went back to country, stayed almost for more than 14 years. I was doing research. Now that was my main, purpose, that what I have been doing in my country after my master's. So I'm an archivist, and I go in different parts of the country. I do archiving, I do documentations, I do filming, I do photographies, and I try to do all the recordings and interviews of master musicians. Like Nagaland is trying a lot, keeping all this culture intact. So same thing, it's been for me also in my life. I've been doing all those things, and so far I have interviewed over more than 400 national musicians and tradition keepers in the country. Yeah. And now the office that organizes that I'm working is called Music of Bhutan Research Center. And after 14 years, and I was asked, again I got kind of an award from Government of India. In 2021, I think I'm the first recipient to receive that Distinguished Alumni Award from the ICC, Indian Council for Cultural Relationship from Delhi. And right after 1 month, again I got another request from the Government of India saying that, okay, I think you should pursue PhD in music. And now I'm still a student. And this is my final year. So I'm doing PhD in stringed instruments of Bhutan and comprehensive studies. So by next year, March 2025, I hope I will, complete my PhD. And let me talk about the festival now. Over the time, I've been also traveling around the world, showcasing Bhutanese folk music and all those things. I've been to US, I've been to London, I've been to many parts of the thing, even in India also. And then suddenly, one day I received an email from, where he's with us here now, the president of the music and he said, wow, can't we start up one festival in Bhutan? And that was a very new subject to me. Because I was never into it. I'm very much kind of a musicologist, or rather into performing and all those things. Then this is how the Hidden Kingdom World Music Festival started, giving birth. And then we started in a wrong time, I would say that, because of the pandemic. But the participation from different parts of the world was overwhelming. we had 18 countries taking part online. And that was huge success. And here now comes Lama. Two of them are the major supporter for the festival when it really took the growth in the initial level. And then three of us, we started working out. I've been getting lots of ideas from them because I was very new into such festival scenario. And then we did it, we made it, right?
Yeah.
And then the second edition happened, and it was in a small scale, but how did we do was, we had, half of the, online, and then raised the local artists, local bands, because my aim is always to promote Bhutanese bands. I want Bhutanese bands to, go to different parts of the world and then show their talents. This is what I really want, because, as a promoter, as an organizer, this is something, that makes you happy. You can really help the, your own, musicians to come up and promote them in a global stage. So then what happens was, that's why now I'm telling you that Nagaland becomes one of the, close friend of Hidden Kingdom World Music Festival, because the cultural bonding with the Nagaland started with the invitation of Dance Fest to Bhutan. And then this band really rocked. People really loved them. It happened in Thimphu. And last year also people, the audience were expecting them to get back. But I said, no, we have another. So that's how the festival started. And last year we did in a full scale, physical. And that happened in a border to Bhutan, between India and Jharkhand. There's a place called Pinsoli, near the Amochu, in such a vibrant place. So again, we had, band from Northeast only, version 2, and we had from Netherlands, and we had Boomerang. There was like 4 international countries, like including Bangladesh. So with that, we really had good time, and then that was huge success. So if I took an opportunity to tell you about the criteria or whatever thing, Hidden Kingdom doesn't have any restrictions to any genres, except we don't want the duplication. That's what, because we don't respect cover songs. That's not your composition. That's not your creation. That's not your talent. That's a kind of imitation or kind of duplicating others' art. And when you do in that way, you lose your own identity. Create your identity through your own art. Otherwise, it has to be more twists and turns and entertaining.
Yeah.
Any bands are welcome.
Great.
As far as if we are in a position to welcome them and to invite them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And this collaboration happened actually because of Music Connect Asia, which reminds me to tell you, to ask you to register on musicconnectasia.org. You can just go to the website and you'll find links to register yourself as a musician, as a music professional, or a festival. So this way you'll be more connected to festival directors and other promoters from all around Asia. And then this brings us to the question. Since most of you are musicians, how would you accept applications from artists? Do you choose them yourselves, or do you have an open call for musicians to apply, or is there any other way you would like to tell us about the selection process of artists? Yeah? How do you usually choose your artists?
So you have to understand that there might be similarities in the way we work and the delegates who were there in the morning, the international delegates. But at the same time, all of us have very, very particular ways of working, right? So keep that in mind, that one size doesn't fit all, right? Each is a little different from the other. And that leads me to the point that sometimes artists don't know where they're applying to or wanting to perform. They just hear the word festival and they think that I'm a band, that's a music festival. I should go. Right? It's very convenient, but it's also a very lazy way of understanding whether you should perform there or not. Right? What am I leading up to? I'm leading up to the idea that both for the festival, in my case, my festival, and for the artists who write to me now, not earlier, now, I want to know about the artist. I want to know their background, I want to know where they're from. But before that, I want to be able to hear them live. Yeah? Now live doesn't mean necessarily on a big band. Very often I've heard somebody in a train going from one city to another city, and I've decided, yes, I want this artist. I had gone for a showcase to a particular festival, and a friend who was performing in the festival was going to meet another friend, and I had nothing to do. I went along and ended up in that friend's hotel room. And in conversation it came out that she was a singer, and I heard her sing, and I said, you're coming to my festival. Right? Now this is something that Sung Chun Lee in in the panel earlier mentioned, where he said, even little opportunities. So as a festival director, I'm open to every single opportunity.
Okay.
10 minutes more?
Yeah. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Then we'll wind up.
Then we wind up.
To end the...
After 15 minutes. No, others.
Can't we stay for another hour? Look,
No, you need some more time.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So can we wrap up at 3:30 because
All right.
we have to have the one-to-one sessions.
Yes.
And then the evening showcase starts after the tea break.
So 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Okay.
Okay, and then let me just cut it short. And
Yeah.
so very simply, it's important for me when I'm selected to hear them live, but it's not important for me where or how I hear them, right? Because yes, if we want many people to hear us, we need a microphone. But for me to know whether you're a good singer or not, I don't need a microphone. I don't need a big stage. I need to hear you. One. Second thing that I'm looking for is, do you have enough material to perform? Can you perform for an hour? Right? Do you have that kind of material, and do you have that kind of energy and vitality? Because the nature of my festival is that it's 100% live. And the word live, if you know the word that I go with is visceral. Do you know the meaning of the word visceral? Visceral means that it hits you here. Right? Then it comes up here, and then maybe it goes into your mind. Right? Because I also come from a theatre background. And the way emotions work is emotions don't work here. Emotions hit you in the gut. So the vitality and the energy of an artist is very, very important for me. As to the point, that I've finished by answering that question. I mean, do I take applications or not? We do not solicit work. I go searching for work. And if you write to me, don't be surprised if I don't respond. I will listen to it. I will put it on record. And maybe for another thing, because one of the things that I did not mention, I also curate for weddings. I also produce a band. In fact, after here, I get back to Bombay and then fly to Budapest for looking at locations for a wedding that I'm doing the music for. So while my festival is very particular for roots music, but I program for many other events, so like them, I'm also looking for rock and jazz, etc., etc. Yeah? But the thing is that, unique to my festival, I don't solicit applications, but I'm very open to receiving information from others, right? But otherwise, my process is one of discovery and travel.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to make it simple. It's online application, and for jazz, we have a small panel that selects artists. For indie, I do that by myself. And as you said, if somebody sends me a music video of beautiful video taken, I don't go with it. I'll ask them raw footage because then we know whether they can really go on stage and perform. So that is one. And in other cases, like as you said, I also do a lot of corporate gigs, even now there's a gig happening. So, I also look for commercial artists to even cover bands do. So I don't care, but because that's my breadwinner, you know. So I look for all kind of artists, but not for the festivals. Festivals have a special, you know, as you guys know,
Yeah.
if it is indie festival, I look for, I look for festival sound. You know, even last time, for the last festival, I had this Rajasthani folk performing among the rock pop and hip hop. In between was Rajasthani folk, bang on, but they had the festival sound. And you don't ask me how, but that's what music is all about. So that's what I entertain, and yeah, I mean, you could look at Global Indie Festival page, and you're most welcome to apply, as well as the Madras Jazz Festival, as well as Mumbai Jazz Festival page. You can look up and apply on this.
So this is an interesting thing. You mentioned that festival sound. So not every band can play in a festival, be on a stage, but many other bands, they can.
No, say for example, there's a solo artist who performs. He requires an intimate setup. I can't put him in front of 3,000 people. But
Yes.
if he can manage that 3,000 people, like Ed Sheeran does, so I'm okay.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, great. You want to answer, or we just jump to the next question quickly, which is, what does it take for a band to be on your stages? We talked about connections, we talked about relationships, we talked about PR, wise communication. This is very important for the artists to be wise in initiating communication with experts, music experts. So some of the panelists maybe could share with us their experience about this particular thing, like how good relationship with artists made them be in your festival, and why? Why is that? Why, if they send like thousands of applications, you will not look into it? But maybe just an emerging band just made it to your festival. Is there a reason? Yeah?
Yeah, I think a little bit different, because it's very important. This is an opportunity for me to talk to you directly. I'm going to talk something like more effective to all of you rather than general things, right? I just spoke to Indian ambassador in Jakarta that about possibility to do cultural exchange between India and Indonesia. We never really done it, and then I already decided, since I've got time to K6 and also TAFMA, I decided to do this. I'm going to start with people from Nagaland and also Manipuri. That's the real thing. So that's we're going to do it right away, but not in Indonesian Music Expo, because that concentrate more in Indonesian music. So this is more for Toraja International Festival. I have festival, international festival in like this kind of environment. Very beautiful, very old music civilization also. So, but two things. Since although I got support from the Indian government, but I'm the one who's going to be choosing the group that I want to. And to be frank with you, I'm very critical with the group. Since I'm a composer, activist, critics, so I'm not going to invite mainstream music for sure. That's one thing. Yeah. For me, of course, traditional music is easier because you cannot find this kind of particular music in other place in the world there. So that's why, as a start, I'm going to start with Pung Cholong from Manipuri, because I love it so much. But of course, I'm not only concentrated on traditional music, but in order to develop something, to become original, to create original work, take time. So that's what I'm looking for. So as Rizu said, so it has to be rooted in one of any culture, but has to be something new also. So that's gonna take time. So not only I don't invite only cover music, but even mainstream music that I feel like, I've been hearing this many hundred times from in somewhere else in the world. So I'm not gonna invite that. So I want to hear something that I never hear. And doesn't have to be, in my opinion, That's different than what Alfredo said. I don't care that much about the high quality because high quality take time. But I'm more interested in potential, the potential that you can offer. If you have some not quite reach the like really what do you call that, the high quality, for me I don't mind because I'm a composer myself. It takes years until you develop and become mature in your work. But once you have very potential ingredient, and I know you can really come up with something, that's very important. That's what I call empowerment. So I want to give you opportunity to develop yourself in the international stage. That's basically the way I choose it.
Okay. Anyone would like to?
Yeah, I think communication is very, very important. I think also like how Frankie just mentioned, how I also work is like this year I have a festival in March 22nd. I'm getting a band called Sion from here. But the interesting thing why communication is important is like it's not only communicating with us. If the musicians also communicate, try to find the agencies who would actually fund the travels. That is very important. So if that is also done by the musicians, then half of the work is done. So that in that way our workload becomes like less, and then we are they have worked so much. Then that actually kind of like attracts us as well, because like see they have worked with so that's how as Frankie said, I've also like been talking with Indian Embassy in Kathmandu, and now we'll be starting every year we'll be starting to get at least one band from India. So if the people from here have already also sent some applications to the Embassy of India in Kathmandu, if you have that communication both ways, then it becomes easier to work together.
Because it's very difficult for all the festivals to fund everything from travel to accommodation to everything, and production of the concert. So now there are, the business model is like split the cost between private funding, public funding, ticket sales. So this is the balance that we all are looking for. I'd like to check or ask if anyone has a question. Maybe we can answer that before we close the session. Yeah? No, thank you very much.
Even if there's a question not
Yes.
related to what we've already spoken, but you have something, because we were being very particular about the subject of the theme, but if you all have any questions to do with the professional space of music, just ask, and I'm sure one of us can.
Yes.
Question.
Please.
When you talk about collaboration, what does that exactly mean? Collaboration from production house to production house, and how do you collaborate with each other? Is it just exchange of the artists, or financially, or how do you?
Yes, please.
It's very important question.
Yes, very good.
So the word collaboration, very simple, people misunderstand it. The root meaning of the word collaborate is to elaborate together. We elaborate, we expose, we explore it together. That is the meaning of collaboration, right? But sometimes, because of resources which are limited, so sometimes you can only meet for 2 days or 3 days. I'm talking about artists between artists, etc. So sometimes you start, okay, you tell me what, suppose if Frankie and I are musicians and we are working on a collaboration, I may say, Frankie, can you share some of the things that you do and play, because I don't know your music too well. And he'll hear me out, and then maybe we'll begin, possibly, by just playing with each other in each other's tracks, right? This is one kind of development of collaboration, but if you have time, you can do a residence. We all live together for a week, and let's play together and let's create something. I'll give you an example, quick example. I've just come back from Scotland, where I've had a collaboration perform at a very large festival. It's a collaboration between Rajasthani folk musicians and Irish musicians. It's not my first, I have many. How did it begin? It began with 2 festival directors, one in Ireland and me, meeting somewhere and talking about our festivals, right? And I invited him to my festival because he was curious about my location. My location is the 580-year-old palace, fortress. and it's called Mehran Garh. Mehran meaning sun, Garh meaning fort. And he said, oh, you know, we have a son of the fort in Ireland, in Donegal County. So I said, what kind? He said, doesn't look anything like this. But you have to come and see it. So he invited me to his festival. This the location that I have is on a mountain. It's on a hill that overlooks the city of Jodhpur. It's a magnificent, huge fortress. Not his, but in Ireland, it's like two walls, one around the other. That fortress of the sun is 2,500 years old. And so we created a project called Citadels of the Sun. It's two festivals, two fortresses, two places, one in Ireland, one in Rajasthan. Ireland is wet and green, Rajasthan is dry and sandy. Right? And we said, how do we begin this collaboration? So he said, do you trust me? And I said, yeah. So he said, he's going to select 3 musicians. And I should select some musicians. So I'm from Rajasthan, him from Ireland, and let them meet for the first time. They don't know each other at all. Right? And that's how the collaboration began in 2019. Now we have performed twice there, they have performed twice here. Over the lockdown we composed new music. And now we're ready to release an album. And we played the album for the first time in Glasgow and then in Ireland. And now it's coming to my festival. So the big point I make, there's no one route to collaborate as long as you understand that you're working on it together. The process, he's talked about an exchange, right? An exchange is not simply necessarily just an artist from one place going to another place performing, and then an artist from this place coming there and performing. The exchange could be amongst themselves, right? Now, if you are are you an artist? Or are you a facilitator?
Promoter, yeah.
You're a promoter. So then you have to have some vision of what you would like to see happen. And that might help you decide which artist you want to choose. Or the other way around, is you have some artists you think are very good. Who should they collaborate with? Right? I think the process of learning and discovery and exploration is key to the beginnings of a very good collaboration.
Can I?
Yes.
Can a little bit just add?
Yes, yes, we have
This is going to give the
2
sample. This is the work of collaboration, exactly what Divya just explained. It took me 3 years to produce this album. So I have a festival, so I invite artists from Spain to work with local artists, and 1 month every year in festival. So the 3rd year, we produce this, and this is, to me, it's very interesting product, and also got to European World Music Charts, number 15, and stay there. This is exactly what I meant also for collaboration, not just, jam session is different, and for jazz, if they can just meet, they produce real good music without really knowing each other, but for like what Divya explained, it takes time, even just to listen to others' music, really, really take time. They said 2 weeks, they're just listening to each other and got really surprised to hear the music there that's supposed to do.
Yeah, but just to...
Yeah, this is so I name it, the Gotra Savala is my festival. So I name it the Gotra Savala Ensemble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to underline that thing, patience is key for collaboration. Key. For all our work, patience is important. But that's one part, that you have to be patient. But the other is very often our collaboration, the kind that Frankie does or I do, is across language. Right?
Yes.
And that is a challenge. But that's a whole different conversation.
So I'm sorry we came to an end. We have to finish. And thank you very much, our dear
Kaushik,
panelists.
we'll see you tomorrow, man.
No, we're here.
This will go on forever.
Yes, and just before we go, please, we're here at the end of the day, and tomorrow, end of the day. So please reach out. We'd love to hear you, talk to you, meet you. Adios.